All right, so let's dive into dementia today.
Okay.
Specifically, if lifestyle changes can really impact your risk.
Interesting.
We've got 3 sources.
Okay.
An AARP article, it summarizes 14 risk factors from the Lancet Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Also a Washington Post essay by a doctor.
All right.
He's dealing with his own Alzheimer's risk.
Okay.
And a BBC piece on a huge study about lifestyle and dementia.
Sounds good.
It does feel like we're moving away from this sense of helplessness around dementia,
Yeah.
starting to see that our choices might actually matter.
It is interesting to see that shift.
The AARP article lays out 14 modifiable risk factors.
Wow.
Some are expected, but some were a real surprise to me.
Like what?
Untreated vision loss, increasing dementia risk.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Makes you think about how important our senses are for brain health.
You can't see, well, you might be less likely to do things that challenge your brain,
Exactly.
like reading or being social.
It's like this cascade effect.
Right.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah.
Speaking of cascades, hearing loss is the #1 modifiable risk factor.
That's huge.
It is.
It makes sense, though, when you think about how hearing loss impacts social interaction.
Right.
If you can't follow conversations, you might avoid social situations, and that leads to isolation.
Which the article lists as another risk factor.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Another surprise. The link between high LDL cholesterol and dementia. I thought statins were just for heart health.
A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is this connection between cardiovascular health and brain health.
Mm-hmm.
What's good for your heart is good for your brain.
Good takeaway.
Yeah.
Now let's talk exercise.
Okay.
The AARP article and the Lancet Commission are clear that it's not just any exercise.
Right.
It's got to be moderate to vigorous activity.
So like what?
Brisk, walking, jogging, swimming, things that get your heart rate up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not just intensity, it's frequency too.
Oh, right. How often you do it.
The more the better.
We can't forget about social connection. Easy to get caught up in our digital lives.
Right.
But real-world interactions, they're like fuel for the brain.
It really is about engaging in those conversations and activities. Keep our cognitive wheels turning.
That leads nicely into Dr. Gibbs.
Oh, yeah, the neurologist from the Washington Post.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with a high genetic risk for Alzheimer's.
Wow.
But instead of panicking,
Right.
he took action.
It's powerful, you know?
Yeah.
We're not just passengers. We can make choices that impact our brain health.
He went all in.
Like, what did he do?
Daily aerobic exercise. A mind diet.
Okay.
Lots of plant-based foods. And flavonols.
Flavonols, it's our...
Powerful antioxidants.
Yeah,
Found in berries, leafy greens, nuts.
gotcha.
He also cut back on alcohol. Prioritized sleep. Did mentally stimulating activities.
Like what?
Reading, writing puzzles. And nurtured his social connections.
So a holistic approach.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting what he said about medication.
Oh, yeah.
He sees the promise of new drugs, but also cautions about side effects and limitations.
Makes sense. There are no quick fixes or magic bullets.
Right.
Even with new treatments, you have to weigh the benefits and risks.
He even shared his experience with a drug trial.
Really?
That didn't go so well.
Ah,
So we've got these modifiable risk factors,
right?
and Dr. Gibbs putting them into action.
Yeah.
But how much of a difference can these changes really make?
That's the big question.
That's where the BBC article comes in.
Okay, the big study.
Yeah, almost 200,000 people followed for 8 years.
Wow, that's a lot of data.
They created a scorecard for healthy habits,
Interesting.
looking at exercise, diet, alcohol consumption, smoking.
Okay,
Those with higher scores had a lower risk of dementia.
makes sense.
They gave examples,
Oh, that's helpful.
like someone who cycles, eats lots of fruits and veggies, enjoys fish limits, processed meat would score high.
Okay.
But someone who smokes doesn't exercise much,
Yeah.
eats a lot of processed, and red meat would score lower.
Gotcha. So like a spectrum.
And the study found that a healthy lifestyle led to a 33% lower dementia risk.
Wow. Even with a genetic predisposition.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Genes aren't destiny.
That is hopeful news.
The BBC article does say that even with a healthy lifestyle, you can't totally eliminate the risk.
Right. There are other factors too.
Lifestyle is just one piece of the puzzle.
But it's a piece we can control.
And even if we can't eliminate the risk,
Yeah.
delaying dementia by even a few years can make a big difference.
Absolutely, adding more healthy years to our lives.
So much to think about.
Yeah, it's empowering though.
Yeah.
We can take a proactive role in our brain health.
Not about living in fear of dementia, but making good choices.
Exactly.
This has been eye-opening for me.
Me too.
I'm walking away with hope and a to-do list for my brain.
I think what's really interesting is that we're just at the beginning
Yeah.
of understanding this connection between lifestyle and dementia.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more breakthroughs in the coming years.
More to learn, for sure. Maybe we'll do another deep dive in a few years
Yeah.
on even even more cutting-edge research.
That would be great.
Until then,
Yeah.
we got plenty to keep us busy.
Lots to do.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
My pleasure.